you're handing out the Heisman every week because we never can start too early doing that. So who won the Heisman this week for you?
The return. It's funny that this is a surprise, I think, but the returning starting quarterback of the defending national champions, I think, had the best week of last year, and it surprised people. Stetson Bennett was absurd. That whole offense was just so much fun to watch. They had Oregon leveraged in every wrong way possible for the first 7 drives of the game or whatever. It was a lot of fun, and he was pretty much perfect. So yeah, I decided this is something I did like 10 years ago. I played around with like a horse race kind of deal, and it was fun. It was the year where Geno Smith starts off like this and wins the Heisman for like 5 straight weeks, and then Johnny Manziel just very slowly reels him in. Thought it'd be fun to try it again, and right now, Bryce Young's up there, Caleb Williams is up there, but Stetson Bennett won the Heisman one, I say.
You know what, hey, Pete, that brings to mind, one of our listeners reached out to me, heard us talking about Stetson earlier. I think I drew a comparison to perhaps Doug Flutie and, the fact that Doug Flutie owns a Batmobile, maybe multiple Batmobiles, but I mean, the actual Batmobile. But Bill already knows that because Bill is a loyal listener of this podcast, even when he's not a guest. So I'm sure you already knew that, Bill. Don't admit it if you didn't. Flutie's got a Batmobile, and we were saying, okay, what kind of superhero would Stetson Bennett be? What kind of superhero car would he have? But one of our listeners had a better idea. And again, I promise we're going to get to a lot of stuff, but let's quickly play this Stetson Bennett game. Would he start? He said we should go through, list some teams. Would he start there? Okay. All right. So I'm going to, and I'll opine on this too, but I'll let Pete, you get the first swing, and then Bill, and then I'll go. Would Stetson Bennett be the starting quarterback at Clemson?
Yes.
Bill?
Absolutely.
I agree. Stetson Bennett would be the starting quarterback at Clemson. Would Stetson Bennett be the starting quarterback at Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
There's something to be said, just generally, to step back for a minute, for an offense that's energized, like an offense that's like to be, and it's an unquantifiable thing. I know we're here with Bill, who tries to quantify everything and does better than anyone doing it, but they're like an offense that is playing in concert with the proper maestro, with everything running smoothly, with taking what the defense gives you, moving the chains, mitigating mistakes, which really has been the evolution of Stetson Bennett, right? Like, I mean, there were self-destructive moments early, which is where the skepticism came from. So I really think like Texas A&M needs that as much as anything else. And those are the two of the more talented rosters who need someone to just, keep the trains moving on time. And to his credit, to his credit, he has shown he is more than a caretaker at this point. Yeah. I will give that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was the biggest thing. Back in 2020, even, you talk about quantifiable. Well, Georgia's offense has been pretty quantifiably good for the whole time that he's been in the lineup. It was just, we always kind of added a but to the whole thing. And he's a former walk-on. He's limited. He's a game manager. He's never been a game manager. He's been just a old quarterback, and those mistakes kind of dried up after a while. He's been really, really good.
He's been limited by the fact that his coaches didn't believe in him. Period. Period. I mean, say what you want. He didn't get any first team reps last year. Now, they liked him. They thought he was a good player. They didn't think he was a starter. The offensive coordinator certainly didn't think he was a starter, believes now, and look at the difference. And there's a huge difference. This is all about the perception of him coming in. And that's why I counsel any high school athlete in any sport. It's great to get, and I've talked to a lot of them, it's great to get the offer. You better go someplace where they love you, because coaches say, well, you'll decide on the field. Who said that's a bunch of junk. Look at what's happened. Look what's happened in Texas. Look at what's happening at Michigan. Now, it is true. It is true to a degree. So I don't want to say that they're cheating and they don't pay attention to anything that's happening on the field. What I'm saying is there are massive preconceived notions to overcome. If you aren't the guy they think should be starting, you will get a sliver of a chance, and only begrudgingly. And as I heard the story, Stetson wasn't even going to start against UAB last year until Maybe Beck. I think it was Carson Beck. I'm one of the other younger quarterbacks when JT Daniels was hurt. Didn't perform very well in practice that week. And Kirby sort of said, I think I can trust Stetson here to get us through this game. And he went out and threw 72 touchdown passes or something. But, anyway, and he's made believers out of them. But rare is the situation where someone who isn't perceived to be the guy really gets the chance. That's rare. So when you're a high school recruit in any sport, better to go where you know you're loved rather than going someplace where they like you enough to let you be on the team. I firmly believe that. Okay. One more. Let's see. I've got one for you. Probably an easy one. Would Stetson Bennett which is a bizarre notion to think of, the team I'm about to say. Bill, would Stetson Bennett be the starting quarterback at the University of Notre Dame?
Oh, man. Well, in terms of, is he the best quarterback? Yeah, absolutely. It would be interesting to see how that race plays out, where you got the blue chip redshirt freshman and everything. But he would have made the Notre Dame offense much more effective last week.
Yeah, I would think you'd have to go there. I will be curious to see. I think Ohio State's defense is pretty good, and I think the sum is now sort of equatable to the parts, as opposed to the past 2 seasons when they had really good parts and didn't have a great sum. And so I feel like we will judge Tyler Buchner these next handful of games and get a fair shake. And he's young. He's going to make some mistakes. I felt like he put them in danger 2 or 3 times, and the ball kind of just hit the turf last week. Mm-hmm. Like there could have been, and there were no turnovers in that game, if I recall correctly. And there could have been he looked a lot more susceptible to a self-destructive turnover than CJ Stroud did at any point.
And I think Stetson would be the starter at Notre Dame. In fact, probably easier just to list the places where I don't think he would be the starter. I don't think he'd start at Alabama. I don't think he'd start at Ohio State. I don't think he'd start at SC. There are other places where he would be in the race. I'm not saying he's clearly better than every other quarterback in the country beyond that. There are a few other places. Maybe Miami would have a hard time beating out Tyler Van Dyke. I tell you, another guy to keep your eye on for weekly Heisman. The cat at North Carolina is pretty good. Drake May. Luke May's little brother's a good player too.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.